guys, this is Carrie with Fullerton Professional Organizing. I'm a little messy today, it looks like, but we're going to tackle talking a little bit about Clutterbug and her name is Cassandra Aarssen and Jessica McCabe. And we're going to talk a little bit about what they say about ADHD. And I think it'll be very interesting. But this podcast talks about decluttering your faith, your home, and your business. And we're just going to get started with decluttering your life, not just your stuff, ADHD-friendly organizing that honors your brain. Now, do you ever feel like you're drowning in stuff, but can't seem to make a dent in the clutter? Well, no matter how many times you try, maybe you start strong with an organizing project, but you burn out, get distracted, or lose interest halfway through, or you pulled everything out and now you're overwhelmed and don't know what to do next. Well, if this sounds familiar, you might not just be disorganized. You may have an ADHD, and that changes how you organize. Now, at Fullerton's Professional Organizing, we believe in decluttering your home, your schedule, your life, but we do it in a way that actually works for your brain. That's why we have studied and drawn inspiration from ADHD experts like Cass from Clutterbug and Jessica from How to ADHD. Those are very popular YouTubes. Their work is revolutionizing the way we approach home management, especially for women and families navigating ADHD. And if you don't have ADHD, this is a simplified system. Therefore, it's going to help everyone. It's not just for those with ADHD, even though this podcast is. So let's dive into what ADHD really is and why traditional organizing systems don't always work for ADHD brains and what you can do differently starting today. And I am working on a system and a program. Now, I have been married for 35 years. I only figured out this ADHD thing after my son was diagnosed, after he grew up, and I started really looking into it. He was diagnosed, but I still did not look really deep into it until I started seeing that some of the approaches that I got from Jessica, How to ADHD, her YouTube is really the one that showed me that I was not a mess, that I was not weird. My brain just thought differently than everyone else, where you're going to have some therapists that are going to tell you ADHD is a problem, but Jessica and Cass from Clutterbug proved that it does not have to be a problem or a mental health issue. It can be a superpower, because what worked for Cass from Clutterbug is now working for me. And when I say that, I mean now I have a business that is thriving because I have been working on my systems for 35 years, and now I'm imparting wisdom from all the research that I have done in organizing, and I'm imparting all of that to my listeners and to my clients. And I will be creating a virtual membership program and some courses and some other things to help people that are not right here, because I have really simplified my home management. because none of the systems out there worked for me. None of the meal plans worked for me. None of the home management plans worked for me. And now that I've worked on it for 35 years, and then COVID came in and really had me hone in on my skills. So I am going to impart what I've learned in many different ways. And one is, of course, you already know, this podcast and going in people's homes. So, what is ADHD really? Well, they say it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, um, and that it isn't just about being hyper or distracted. In fact, many adults, especially women, go undiagnosed for years because their symptoms show up as chronic overwhelm and disorganization, emotional dysregulation, difficulty with time management, procrastination, perfectionism, or task paralysis. And with perfectionism comes lots and lots of guilt because you can't do it. Trouble following multi-step directions, forgetting important appointments, bills, or tasks, a brain that's always going, always going, even when you're exhausted. Now, for me, that all represents me. Okay. But luckily, the businesses that I have gone into and the careers I've had, really, I was able to use that. I just wasn't able to procrastinate, especially since I wasn't diagnosed by a doctor. I did not know that that's what it was. So I didn't understand, and I had a lot of insecurities. Well, now Clutterbug, she went into drugs and criminal activity and even went to prison and was scared straight. I just listened to that video just now. That part surprised me. What I already knew about her was that her husband, now they went on a date. All of her dishes were dirty and hidden in all the cabinets, and he cleaned her entire house for her, and they still got married. And now she has this successful organizing business, even though she still struggles with organization. But she's found systems that work with her brain. And a lot of these that will work with anyone. You don't have to have ADHD to organize your home the way your brain works. So, but we're going to go in. What I really wanted to say in this, I think ADHD is not really the inability to pay attention. It's the fact that your brain pays attention to every single thing going on around you at the same time. It's almost as if there are four people giving you instructions, but they're all speaking in a whole different language. Languages that you don't understand because they're all talking to you at once. That is the only way I can explain it. Or if you have classical music blaring in one radio and rock and roll playing in another radio, and you've got both, or and Tejano music, all three playing at the same time, full blast. It's a lot of noise in your brain, and you're trying to remember it all and decipher it all. And it's happening 24 hours a day, not just when you're overstimulated. So, anyway, a brain that's always going, even when you're exhausted. At its core, ADHD is a neurological difference that affects executive functioning, your brain's ability to plan, prioritize, and follow through. You're not lazy. Your brain just operates on a whole different rhythm. That's not a flaw, it's a feature, but you need systems that work with it, not against it. And because you're a minority, most systems are systems that supposedly work for everyone all the way across the board. And it doesn't work for everyone. Why traditional decluttering doesn't work for ADHD brains? Most mainstream organizing systems were created by people that don't have ADHD. So people who thrive on structure, linear thinking, and predictability. But for someone with ADHD, a system that requires but someone with ADHD, a system that requires perfection, constant upkeep, or long sorting sessions can feel like an impossible task. And it really is. I mean, no one is perfect. So we can throw that part out the window anyway. Now, Cassandra Aarssen, she comes in with her powerful reminder: you're not messy, you just organize differently. And that's the philosophy that I have at Fullerton Professional Organizing because I understand it. Cassandra created the Clutterbug system to reflect the fact that people have different organizing styles. She identifies 4 types of organizers, and she came up with this because she started organizing for friends and family. And then when she started her business, she decided she would market the fact that if the system didn't work, that she will come back and fix it for free. Well, she found out real quickly that it worked for some and not others, and she was going back and working for free quite a bit. So she had to learn from that and pivot her business. And what she found out was that there are some that are visual organizers who need everything visible and easy to grab. Then there are people that are detail oriented, but also need visual reminders and open systems. The third was people who love detailed hidden systems like labeled bins and files. And then there are those that prefer visual, calm, no labels sometimes, but need quick, easy, hidden storage. Now, most ADHD clients that she works with fall into the 1 and 2 category, where you put something in a bin in the closet, it's gone forever. If your task isn't visual, it might as well not exist. That's not a personal failure, that's a brain difference. And that's how things work for me. In my craft room, I organize things in clear bins so that it's decorative, and that helps me keep things organized because it's visually appealing and I love it and I want it to stay that way. But on the other hand, there are times I have things stored on shelves in closets that I don't want to see. I would rather there be a door or a curtain that makes that look calming and visual. And then, of course, labeling everything, because I can have 4 different pockets in my purse where I have everything nice and neatly organized and designated, but then forget which pocket has which item because out of sight, out of mind. So for me, labels are very, very important. Now let's talk about Jessica McCabe and the power of doing it differently. Jessica McCabe is the creator of the YouTube channel How to ADHD. That's how that's how, that's her channel. ADHD, sorry guys. ADHD isn't a problem of knowing what to do. It's a problem of doing what you know to do. So for many years, people with ADHD, the issue isn't that they don't want to clean, declutter, or follow a routine. Well, maybe sometimes they're not rule followers. It's a little too rigid, but it's that the way their brain processes information, motivation, and energy makes it incredibly hard to follow through. Now, Jessica normalizes these challenges and offers shame-free strategies that honor the ADHD brain. And I love anyone that doesn't shame ADHD and makes it something that you can completely work around. Some of her most empowering approaches included body doubling. Having someone present while you work helps with focus, and it, makes it a lot less boring. Visual timers, use color or countdown timers to keep track of your time. B minus work mindset, let go of perfection and focus on progress. Task scripting, break a task down into mini steps, like the steps before the steps before the steps, so it feels doable. Dopamine boost, pair boring tasks with something you enjoy, like music, dancing, podcasts, reward systems, routines that flex. Routines should feel like prison. They should feel like support. Now, Jessica reminds us that the ADHD brain thrives on interest, urgency, novelty, and challenge. So your organizing system needs to tap into those things instead of relying on discipline alone. Now, the thing, if you are not aware and have not been a frequent watcher of Jessica, she now has a family, she has a baby, and Clutterbug had to come in and organize her apartment. It was a mess. So even though Jessica is an expert in ADHD, she obviously still struggles. And if you have ever been a mother, you know how adding children and a spouse or a partner or a friend into the mix, roommate, can really change the dynamic and the flow and the systems because they have their own ways. So finding a way that works for everyone in the home can be a little more challenging, and that's what Clutterbug helped her with. So even though they're both experts in their own right, both of them, perfection is not the goal, and grace is. So, decluttering the ADHD-friendly way. So, what does work for people with ADHD when it comes to decluttering and organizing? Well, we're going to tackle some strategies inspired by both of them with a little bit of faith-based touched from me, Fullerton's professional organizing. Now, number one, start with visual zones, not whole rooms. ADHD brains get overwhelmed by big projects. Don't organize your whole kitchen, just do the junk drawer. Don't sort every toy, just clear off one shelf. Now, even though I'm a professional organizer, I can go into spaces and see the whole project and allow myself to be overwhelmed. But because I know that what the way I work is I start right at the door and work around the room, I can concentrate on just one little thing at a time, just one area at a time. I move to the next area, mostly because the way I start with all of my clients is just asking, is this something that's leaving the house or staying? Leaving or staying? Leaving or staying? Um, those are really the only two questions I ask in the beginning. I don't pressure them. We just go through all the things that they quickly already know they're letting go or keeping. Then we go into what is this space going to be used for? Okay. So God doesn't ask us to finish everything at once. He says, do not despise these small beginnings. That's Zechariah 4:10. So even in the Bible, progress, not perfection, is the way to go. Number two, use open and visible storage. If you can't see it, you forget it. Even if you're going to use a clear bin, and have it categorized, at least it's a clear bin, it's not hidden. Open baskets and labels with pictures and words. Store daily use items at eye level. God created order and beauty. Your home can reflect both, even if it looks different from Pinterest. Guys, we don't need Pinterest worthy, magazine worthy, HGTV worthy looking homes. Embrace the good enough. As long as it's clean and it doesn't stink and it's orderly, it's good enough. Number three, make it easy to put things away. A common ADHD trap is systems that are too many steps. Putting away craft supplies means opening 5 bins and reading labels. It won't happen. Try drop zones, lidded baskets, and shallow drawers instead. God is a God of grace. Your home can be functional without being perfect. Make those little drop zones. It doesn't have to, you can create baskets that you can just drop things in. Okay. It's kind of like your toothbrush. When you go in the morning, sure, you have to grab your toothbrush, put toothpaste on it, and brush your teeth, but you're not having to do 10 steps. Okay, let me go in and at the top shelf, grab the basket, open the basket, take out the toothbrush. Now go on the other side of the room, open the other thing, pull out the toothpaste, right? It's right there. Toothpaste, brush, and you put it up. So those are the easy systems that we want to attempt when organizing a space. 4, declutter before you organize. That is so, 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 so important. Cassandra always says you can't organize clutter. ADHD brains struggle with excess visual input. The fewer choices, the less stress. Start with the low hanging fruit, things that are broken, expired, never used, then move on to duplicates or things you think you should keep but never actually use. Hebrews 12:1 tells us to throw off everything that hinders. That includes the stuff weighing you down at home. Number 5, use body doubling and external accountability. ADHD brains thrive when they're not doing things alone. Call a friend, hire an organizer, join a group, or even set up a FaceTime work date. Ecclesiastes 4:9 reminds us two are better than one. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Number 6, celebrate the wins. Every drawer cleared, every bag donated, every routine that sticks for a week is a victory. ADHD brains often forget to celebrate because they are already focused on the next task. Keep a list or take photos of your wins to remind yourself you're making progress. Now, another thing I want to say about that is everything is a small little win. Every little thing that you succeed at. Now, here is something that is also a success, but may not look like a success. If you've organized an area or a space and it did not stay organized over 6 months or a few months, and you put it all back and then it wound up being a mess again, and you put it all back and it winds up being a mess. If you're doing that for 6 months or things just start piling, then we also have to say, okay, that system is not working. And that in itself is a win because you're admitting that this system doesn't work and you've just got to rework it until you find a system that works. That was happening to me under my kitchen sink. It was always becoming a mess, and I could not keep it nice and neat. Things were it just wasn't staying. So then I kept working on it until I had a system. Now the system works. And even if I take out the old system and upgrade to a more expensive system, I still know what works and it stays organized. So I just wanted to let you in on that little secret. Now, God celebrates every step of faith, so you can too. All right, now, just a little bit more. If you're living with ADHD, organizing your life isn't about doing things perfectly. It's about doing them in a way that works for you and your family and your brain. And, you got to take in consideration all of your family members' ways as well. That might mean colorful bins, visual checklists, flexible routines, or, systems. Everything works with a system. There's no right way, only the way that helps you steward your space and family, your time, and your energy well. Now, at Fullerton's Professional Organizing, we are here to help you declutter your home and your heart, one step at a time. Whether you're a busy mom, working professional, or homeschooling parent, you have ADHD, you don't have ADHD, your home can still be a place of peace and purpose, and most of all, grace. So, once I get my virtual membership started, I will start letting you know, and we can get you started on our virtual faith-based membership for women and families with ADHD or not who want practical support, printable routines, and organizing encouragement and monthly checklists rooted in Bible self-care. Now, I'm thinking about the platform Teachable for this, but I will keep you informed. You can go to my website if you need help, www.fullertonsprofessionalorganizing.com. I'm on Instagram at Fullerton's Pro Organizing, and you can subscribe to our podcast or YouTube channel. And also, I'm on Facebook. But just remember this, you are not lazy, you are not broken, you are not behind, you're just wired differently, and that's okay. So let's build a system that works with your brain, not against it. All right, guys, that was Fullerton's professional organizing, and I will see you on the next podcast or YouTube.